Welcome to Conversations. I'm Suresh Kochatal. Before we get on to today's topic, I would request you to like, share, and of course comment on this YouTube channel. Let's make sure that you are enjoying what I'm doing. Let's come to the topic of today's talk. The Supreme Court, which in any case in India believes that it needs to run the government. It is selecting its own judges. It is selecting relatives as judges. It's doing everything under the sun. But when somebody else tries to do it, it says, no, that's wrong. You cannot select your own people. But the Supreme Court has its way. But today we're not getting into that. We are talking about why Supreme Court is going out of its domain and getting into running the country. Now the latest one is the Supreme Court panel, which is holding talks with the agitating farmers from Punjab, sitting on the Punjab-Haryana border near Shambhu. My question is, what is the role of judiciary? What is the judiciary supposed to do? Because there are silos, executive, legislative, judiciary. But of late, not just of late, last 10 years, the judiciary has been stepping into the union government's shoes, striking down legislations passed by the parliament. The NJAC is a case in point, where the judges are appointing judges. Nowhere in the world this happens. And that is what is the arrogance that is costing our country dear. My question is the Supreme Court trying to undermine the union government by asking the Punjab government to hold talks with the farmers? Why? Is that the job of the Supreme Court? The government has certain policies. It's asking the government, what about your role, your kind of opinion on the minimum support price? How can the Supreme Court dictate this thing? And now, of course, we're seeing the Sangyukt Kisan Morcha saying, we are not getting into any talks with anybody. And the Supreme Court yesterday had to say this, that even the farmers, so-called farmer leaders are becoming very arrogant. Finally, some sense is going to the Supreme Court. There's a gentleman who is on a fast and to death. In a normal sense, what would happen? They would take him to a hospital, the police, and admit him there and give him a drip. What would happen if you or me sit on a highway blocking the road? We will get arrested. But here, people are sitting for days on end, inconveniencing people, stopping ambulances, stopping regular vehicle goers on a highway across Punjab and Haryana. What kind of nonsense is this? Why is the Supreme Court not doing anything to remove these people from there? Why are they stopping the government from doing it? If you or me had done, we would have got arrested. Okay, but now comes the decision that, we're going to hold talks. What are the talks going to be about? The court has appointed a few people and said these will hold talks with the farmers. For what? Because they want something which is not possible. They want a constitutional backing for the minimum support price, which means 70% of the union budget will go into that. There'll be nothing run to run the country's defense. There'll be nothing run to the clearing the programs that are there for the government to run. Nothing, no hospitals, no school, nothing. Everything will go for one particular rich community from one particular state. Remember, farmers in Andhra, farmers in Chhattisgarh, farmers in Telangana, farmers in Tamil Nadu, or Kerala, Maharashtra, nobody has a problem. It's only one state that has a problem. And that is the problem. That you kind of come in your Mercs, you come in your rich kind of big tractors, and you sit on a fast and to death. We saw Jagjit Singh Dalewal. Okay, he has got a reason. He's on 37 days, he's on a fast. And as we are recording this, it will go into 39 to demand the legal guarantees for MSP. Why should they do it? And Supreme Court says, put him into hospital, give him the treatment. When he's saying, I don't want the treatment, what is the Supreme Court trying to do? He said he will not have treatment. Supreme Court, what will it do? Will it do the same thing for you and me? No, they will not. They will just go to hell. This is a problem. In fact, the SC panel, which was formed on September 2nd, had invited these farmer unions for talks on many issues, including MSP, institutional debt, rising input cost, and all that. One can understand all that. Prime Minister Modi himself is providing a lot of support that way. Many state governments are waiving off the loans of taxpayers' money, imagine. In fact, this is what the problem is. In fact, the Sangyukt Kisan Morcha's Harinder Singh Lakhowal says that the panel's terms of reference are primarily aimed at reopening the highways. Definitely, yes, boss. Shambhu and Kanuri, border points between Punjab and Haryana. And he says, we are not a part of this court's intervention. So, the court should tell the police, remove them from there. But the court will not dare do it. Because they want to play politics. They are not doing the jobs. Lakhs of cases are pending in courts, including the Supreme Court. But the Supreme Court has a time for all this. Just to take up this one case, over the last 1 week, the Supreme Court would have put aside almost 20 to 30 cases for a later date, tariq pe tariq. They have no issues with that. But they have an issue where the government should speak to the farmers. Tomorrow the students go on strike, government should speak to the students. Tomorrow the homemakers go on a strike, homemakers should speak. Anganwadi workers. That's the Supreme Court's job. It should do the job which it has been given, which is being paid a salary, and it is not doing it. One of the biggest failures in this country is our judiciary. And I've said this before and I'll say it again at the risk of incurring the wrath of the Supreme Court. Doesn't matter. In fact, they're very clear that you caution the agitating farmers to keep themselves from a safe distance from political parties, political issues, and not to insist on some demand which are not feasible for the to be accepted outrightly. Yes. But then everybody knows that these farm unions are backed by politicians, backed by political parties, including the Congress and the Aam Aadmi parties. Definitely this is the problem. But the Supreme Court says, no, don't do it. They will not listen to anybody. They didn't listen to Modi. Who is Supreme Court for them? Nobody. In fact, it says that, it will also facilitate the high-powered committee, and both the states and the union government should consider. What should it consider, boss? Ask the taxpayer like you and me. We pay the taxes. We will decide. Have a referendum. We, middle class, should be treated with more respect than the rich farmers from Punjab. And this is my kind of grouse against Supreme Court. They've done this before also. Kid gloves against people who are out indulging in arson. In fact, one of the major demands, as we saw, that there should be a consent of both the states and the center. And the Supreme Court said that they will immediately respond to the request of the high-powered committee and will vacate the Shambhu border. They will not. They will not. In fact, the general public is facing extreme hardship due to the blockade on highways. In fact, while setting up the committee, the court had asked them to reach out to the agitating farmers at the Shambhu border to impress them to remove this barricade. They will not remove the barricades. Come what, Supreme Court. In fact, yesterday the Supreme Court seemed to be frustrated at the attitude of the so-called farmers. They use the word, not me. They called it. In fact, the national highway is being blocked. Imagine, this is what they will do tomorrow if there is an armed incursion across the border. They will block the army's movement. They will do this kind of stuff. They have done it before. And that is what the most important thing is. When there is a vacation bench, when there is a holiday season, the Supreme Court sits on a Saturday for these people. They will not sit for you and me. A normal, common man will not get a hearing before 6 months to 1 year in a Supreme Court. But if you are a VIP like these people, you will get immediately. Because you will have Kapil Sibal, Indira Jaising, you name it. Dushyant Dave, everybody will be there. And some retired judges will be backing them. This is what Punjab government, yes, it needs to speak, but it itself is backing the agitation. So how will it speak? This is the problem. In fact, the Supreme Court in September itself has constituted an independent neutral panel. But then the problem is that, this panel, which includes many eminent experts, cannot do anything because they don't have the kind of mandate for it. Just because the Supreme Court appointed them to have a talk, go to the farmers. Farmers say, we want MSP guarantee under the constitution. It cannot be given. So they go back and say, it's not possible. They say, okay, forget it, you go back. We are blocking the highway anyway. This happened in Shaheen Bagh. This happened earlier when the farm bills came up. And I think one of the major mistakes Modi ji did, even today I say this, I've said this many times before, is withdrawing the farm bills. He should have gone ahead with it. Nothing would have happened. We saw that in the Haryana election. So-called Congress's campaign against BJP on the farm issue. What happened? Nothing happened. This is the problem. This is a game of bluff. This is just farmers of one state who are holding the nation to blackmail. And we should not succumb to it. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.